Back in 1994, what would you have thought if the sequel to NBA Jam let you play as Michael Jordan? Or if Shaquille O'Neal were back in the game? What would you have thought if you could have played with the Mortal Kombat characters in the mainstream arcade version? Or if that fatality code were turned on by default? Well, as it stands, the NBA Jam arcade games were two of the most popular arcade machines of all time. But you know, things would have been really crazy if all of that stuff were included. A legend has grown over time that a few special versions of NBA Jam were created. These were apparently versions created specifically for Gary Payton, Ken Griffey Jr., and Michael Jordan at the request of those three players. In an old Reddit Ask Me Anything post, game designer Mark Turmel wrote openly about those versions and indicated that he still had access to the old EP-ROMs that contained the code. Well, it turns out that that version of the NBA Jam source code was dumped. I don't know when, how, or who did it, and I don't know how the stuff spread, but I do know that you can play the ultimate version of NBA Jam Tournament Edition, one that has all of the fun stuff added in. This was all released, first of all, back in December 2023 on the Arcade Project's message board. A user named Asur, who seems to have been the leader of the project, released an incredible updated ROM of NBA Jam Tournament Edition. And as of sometime in April 2025, Michael Jordan is fully playable. Now, I should warn you that I'm not an expert on how these games were created. All of this information comes from what I understand from the forum posts. This version of NBA Jam was completely recompiled from the original source code, or in other words, this is not a hexadecimal hack. Among other things, the tank game that wasn't in Tournament Edition is back. There are also apparently a couple of Tim Kittredge lines that have been restored. They were in the original game but wouldn't play because of some coding errors. And there are really a lot of changes to go over. Anyway, let's look together at some of the things that were changed. Well, the big news is that Michael Jordan is indeed in this game just as he was designed in the special edition that was never publicly released. Tim Kittredge calls out his name just like any other player. Jordan is playable on the Bulls, of course. You can also find him on the special All-Star team that is unlocked when you beat all 27 NBA teams. And you can also access him as a hidden character. That means that you can have a 2 Jordan team if you want. Now, Jordan is great, of course, but he's not perfect. As some of you have mentioned, his clutch rating isn't great. You might already know this, but Mark Turmel was a Detroit Pistons fan. This might be the reason why Jordan only has a 7 clutch rating. But you can still win with him. I mean, it's not that hard, and he's not the only cool addition. My favorite part is playing with Ken Griffey Jr. Griffey has the signature backwards baseball cap. I'm not sure which player he's based on, but his dunking ability is totally through the roof. He's not exactly a cheat code for winning, but it's still a lot of fun to play as him. And then there's a bunch of little stuff that really adds to the game. The Mortal Kombat hidden characters are loaded back in the game. Raiden is actually better than he was in version 2 of Tournament Edition since he's got lightning around him. He's also really good at stealing the ball. The fatality code is also back, which is a lot of fun. It doesn't actually injure your opponent, but it still looks really cool. There are also a couple subtle things that have changed. By default, this special edition has the hint stuff that comes on at the start of every game turned off. That was a big time waster back in the day, especially if you had played the game hundreds of times. If you want to turn it back on, you can do so in the CMOS menu. Now, it took me a little while to figure out how to get into that CMOS menu. I'll show you how to do it using MAME. Alright, to get to this, you have to turn the test mode dip switch on. This would be an actual switch on the arcade cabinet. It's a virtual thing if you're emulating. As soon as you turn it on, you enter the CMOS menu. You can turn the big heads permanently on in this menu. You can also make the computer easier or harder. If you want, you can turn computer assistance on or off, and you can also turn tournament mode on to get rid of all the secrets and the cheats. And there are a few other things that I think were specifically added by the team that worked on this. Well, the fun stuff is under extra settings. You can turn the idiot boxes back on if you want. You can also toggle the expanded rosters on. There was a code in the original NBA Jam Tournament Edition to turn on expanded rosters for all teams. Well, this switch turns them on by default. You can also turn the fatalities on by default, which I highly recommend. You can turn on the baby size player code by default if you like. You can also give every player max power if you want to see guys shoving each other all over the place. And you can turn on shot percentage display by default. Well, that covers just about all the codes that you can do before a game of NBA Jam Tournament Edition starts. And it's helpful, this way you don't have to remember to push a button like 24 times or whatever to get a certain effect. You can just hit the switch and have it be on forever. Now, even with the extra players, this isn't exactly an easy game. Some of the teams can be pretty rough, even if computer assistance is turned off. As usual, the key is remembering to go back and play defense and not just go for the steal. I also don't recommend shooting too many three-pointers. Even Mark Price isn't going to make enough of them to push you over the top. I have lost more games trying the three-point strategy than I really want to admit. But it's still fun regardless of whether you win or lose. In fact, I would say that this is the best version of NBA Jam possible. The extra characters really make this a special version. And the commentary is hilarious. The only thing that would make this better would be someone doing the same thing to NBA Hangtime. And that might be coming before too long. So it seems that the same team is working on an ultimate version of NBA Hangtime. As you can see, they're still working on this project as of the filming of this video in August 2025. And there's talk here about adding in Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and a lot of other surprises. Imagine playing the arcade version of Hangtime with Kobe. And once again, this is a recompiling from the original source code. This is not a hack. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that project works out. Hopefully it'll come out sooner instead of later. Now, this is the golden age of NBA Jam, and we're about to see the golden age of NBA Hangtime. And it blows my mind just how much fun all of this is. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated.